Hey guys, this is Gary, and in this video I want to show you how to set up flash to shoot birds. Basically the duration of a flash is very quick, so I'm not going to be using a very fast shutter speed. So the concept here is I'm using flash for stop action, not my shutter speed. I could actually open up my shutter to 1 second and still stop the action if there wasn't so much light outside. So it's, it's daylight. So the first thing to do here is set an ambient exposure so you get a black frame. In other words, set your exposure so it's so underexposed there's not enough light to get an image. That way you know that you're only lighting the scene with the flash, and that's key to this whole thing here. In order to make a successful stop action using flash, the scene must be lit entirely with flash. If there's any ambient light influencing the scene, you're going to get some motion blur. Alright, so I set my exposure to 1/200th of a second, f11, ISO 320. Okay, that gets me a black frame. Now I'm going to show you my flash setup. I'm using 3 Speedlights for this. I know it's kind of complicated, but I've got 2 side lights and 1 key light. Well, I'll just show you. Okay, so the big softbox there's a Speedlight in that, and that's set to about 1/4 power. I've got a half-cut CTO gel in all 3 flashes to sort of mimic sunlight. And then to the left, I've got a flash, no light modifier, so that's a straight shot with the flash, also with a CTO gel. And then to the right, I've got another flash, also with a CTO gel. The 2 side flashes, I believe, are right now set to 1/4 power. The flash in the softbox is also set to 1/4 power, but that's actually getting stopped down by about 2 stops because of the softbox. So, so how did I come up with this setup? Well, basically it was trial and error. Now that you've seen my flash setup, you might be wondering how I'm triggering all this. Basically, I'm triggering these 3 flashes with a very inexpensive transmitter-receiver combo. They're not pocket wizards. Pocket wizards are many hundreds of dollars. I spent roughly $25 on the transmitter and receiver. So here are the 3 flashes. Here are the 2 side flashes. I had them aimed this way because, as you can see, the flash head is a rectangle. I had them mounted on my light stand this way to get the most amount of coverage. So they were on the sides like this. And this one is a Yongnuo Speedlight, the Yongnuo 562, $70. This one, a Luma Pro 160. They don't make this anymore. They replace it with the 180, which is a very cool flash. This one cost me roughly $160. This is my Canon flash, and this was almost $300. Okay, now I like these 2 flashes better. They're fully manual. They don't do any ETTL stuff. They don't do any fancy high-speed sync nonsense. And some of you might be wondering, well, why don't you use high-speed sync? Well, the minute I take the flash off the camera, I lose the ability to do the high-speed sync deal. Oh, and also, this is a half-cut CTO. This is what's coloring all 3 flashes. I have one on each flash. So here's the transmitter. Now, interestingly enough, these 2 flashes were slaved to this flash. In other words, when these 2 flashes saw a flash, they also fired because light travels very fast. It's instantaneous. Curiously, the most expensive flash here, the Canon, will not slave to another flash. It will only slave to another Canon flash. So in many ways, this is limited. Bottom line is $70. I could have 3 of these for what it costs me for 1 of these. And I use this a lot more than I use this. I only use this because it's my third flash, and since it's the only one that wouldn't slave, I used it as the trigger. This is the receiver. So let me turn it on. If I press this button, see, this triggers this flash, this transmitter. When this is on the hot shoe of my camera, when I hit the shutter button, it'll trigger the flash. And that's how I was able to trigger all three flashes. Just one transmitter and one receiver. All right, I think that just about covers it. The rest of it is just patience. Okay, you've seen my setup. So basically, I'm just going to sit here and wait for the birds to show up again, and I can start shooting. But what I'll do, I'll take a frame right now so you can see how the bird feeder is being lit by the two side flashes plus the overhead flash that's inside of the softbox. And so let me just take a frame here while we're waiting, and you can see for yourself. Okay, so as you can see from the picture, the bird feeder is pretty well lit. I just have to wait for some birds. Okay, a bird just showed up. Two birds. Okay, the thing you want to be careful of is I'm manually focusing. I set my focus point. I don't want my camera hunting for focus while I'm trying to shoot these birds. So I've got it pre-focused on the bird feeder. The problem with that, of course, is that even at f11 with a long lens like this set to 200 millimeters, my depth of field isn't that deep. I can't stop down anymore. I'm not going to get enough light. So I have to try and make sure that the birds are reasonably close to the bird feeder so they're inside the depth of field. When they're outside the depth of field, it kind of ruins the whole thing. So I want to get a nice sharp stop action. Still haven't gotten it. One trick you can try is keeping your left eye open. That way you can see, the scene as well as look through the viewfinder. But it's not helping very much here because these damn birds are really quick. These little birds, they're just so fast. So I'm having a real tough time. I'm getting a stiff neck because I can't move. This is pretty hard. Oh, one last thing, I guess, because obviously this is getting pretty boring for you all, no doubt. The reason that none of my flashes are set to full power is because of the recycling time, meaning the time between flashes. So if all my flashes are set to full power, I could definitely get more light and I'd be able to stop down more, get a wider depth of field because there'd be more power from the flash. But then it would take about anywhere between 4 to 7 seconds for the flashes to recycle and they won't fire. So at say quarter power, the recycling time is about a second, maybe even less. So that's reasonable. See, there's always a trade-off here. There's always going to be some kind of price you pay. In this case, for the price I'm paying for a faster recycling time is less flash output. That's one of the reasons I have 3 flashes. All right, this is boring, I'm sure, like, watching me click away here without having any clue what's going on out the window. So I'm going to keep shooting. I'm going to post my results at the end of this video, so hopefully I'll get a really good shot. I'm not going to stop until I get something that's really good. I've got maybe a half hour before I have to go do something, so I'm just going to keep shooting. I'll let you guys see what's happening at the end. Okay, so just real quick to wrap this up, the side lighting helps separating the birds from the background because it's a pretty dark bush. These birds are kind of a dull brown. They're not the most, amazing looking birds ever. But the side lighting gives them a little rim light, which helps separate them from the background, and the softbox kind of facing down is an overall wash of soft light to light the whole thing up. So the lighting is actually pretty good, and now it's just getting the shot. I was shooting for the last half hour, and I don't know, I got some decent shots, I guess, but nothing I'm thrilled about. We have a couple cardinals in our yard. I was really hoping a cardinal was going to come up on this bird feeder, but it didn't happen. So, I mean, you could do everything right technically, but if you don't get the shot, you don't get the shot. That's photography. I mean, there's a lot of luck involved, folks. I don't think I was all that lucky, but whatever. Okay, I guess that's about it. Thanks, guys. See you next time.